Presiding Officer, Mr. Graham Parrott, MP, the Federal Member for Moreton. 3-year Ofsted Borbridge MP, the State Member for Stretton, to come to the stage. Melody Cheng, the host of the Honorary Live President of the WAMCI Multicultural, Mr. Anthony Shorten, MP. Dana E, the President of WAMCI Multicultural, the co-host, to come to the stage. Stephen Wan, the Councillor for McGregor Ward. Can I ask Councillor Kim Marks, Councillor for Karawata Ward.
I would like to acknowledge the traditions of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people on whose land we are gathered here today. Mr. Graham Parrott MP, Presiding Officer for the Citizenship Ceremony authorised by the Minister under the Australian Citizenship Act 2007. Melody Chen, Life Honorary President, World Arts and Multicultural Incorporated and the host. Dana Yu, President, World Arts and Multicultural Incorporated and the co-host. Mrs. Freya Ostapovich, MP, State Member for Stretton. Thank you. Mr. Anthony Shorten, MP, State Member for Alcester, but he's not here at the minute. Councillor Stephen Huang, Councillor for McGregor Ward. Councillor Kim Marks, Councillor for Karawaka Ward. Laurie Woods, DFC 460 Squadron, RAAF, World War II. Sam Sui, President, Hong Kong Association of Queensland. Tanvi Joel Jane, Hindu Mandra Association of Queensland, and she's not here at the moment. Thank you. Thank you, Lewis.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I ask Mr. Graham Parrott to deliver the Minister message for this citizenship ceremony and also deliver his message.
Thank you very much, Lewis, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Could I also acknowledge the traditional owners and thank them for their continuing stewardship. I know Australia Day can be a difficult day for Indigenous Australians, but this is a great day to become an Australian citizen, and I welcome the candidates. Could I also welcome the political representatives that are here today, Kim, Freya, Stephen, and all of the other distinguished guests, but I would like to single out one, and that is Laurie Woods, who has received recognition from the government today, the Order of Australia. Obviously, Laurie has served his community for a very long time. To a time back when he was flying bombers over Europe. Incredible to recognise his service to the community since World War II, but I especially wanted to recognise Laurie. The ceremony today is one of the best parts of my job, and I'm sure the elected representatives would agree. It's a wonderful part of our jobs where we get to see where you have embraced Australia on this particular ceremony. Irrespective of your journey, some of you have been here for 4 years and 1 day, some here for 40 years, some came through heartache and tragedy and sadness, others through different, others came here for love, others came here for faith. I think we have one of the first Catholic priests that I've ever officiated over, Father, so I look forward to that. There is a chance to make an oath with the Bible, Father, you'll be glad to know. So this is one of the best parts of our job. So, and here today I have to read out the message from the Minister, the Honourable Peter Dutton, MP, Minister for Immigration and Border Protection. And I begin. Australia stands proud in today's world, recognised for defending the values, rights and obligation which will stand us in good stead for as long as we embrace them. The history and culture of Australia has been forged over thousands of years, first through Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, and more recently with people from the four corners of the earth. Australians are proud of having survived and thrived as a nation following the cruelty of world wars, depression, drought and flood. As a result of this rich history, today we stand with other strong democracies to help defend and protect our hard-fought freedom. People of all backgrounds and religions strengthen our country, and only together united will our future be as strong as our present and past. Thank you for taking this important step today. Australian citizenship confers on you great benefits, but equally, rights and obligations. Congratulations and best wishes, the Honourable Peter Dutton MP, Minister for Immigration and Border Protection. Thank you.
Today, we have 91 candidates from 25 different countries becoming Australian citizens. We are very honored to host the Australian citizenship ceremony this afternoon under the guidance of Louis Lee, OAM. Like Honorary Advisor and AD Citizenship Committee Chair of World Art and Multicultural Incorporation. Australia is a wonderful country, rich in cultural harmony and diversity. I am aware of a joint Australian citizenship ceremony provides to you and your family, and I cherish this great honor of being able to be part of assisting with this important step in a new life. Once again, congratulations to the candidates who will be the new Australian citizens. Thank you very much.
May I also just acknowledge all of the VIPs here, and most of all, the most important people here are all of you that are making this big choice today and becoming Australian citizens. This is actually my 4th citizenship ceremony today, so I think I've welcomed close to 400 people, and you are the last of the day, so you're the most special. You're actually the newest Australian citizens to be recognised on this Australia Day. I just wanted to acknowledge the choices that you've had to make. For some of you it may have been a very easy choice, but I know that for others it's been a very difficult one. And a lot of us here sitting behind me are actually also not born in Australia. We came here as immigrants, and it's what's wonderful about Australia. It's the land of opportunity. It's the land where you can come to this country and you can become an elected member of a council or of parliament. And that's really special in my opinion. So for all the young people here, just have a think of where your futures might go. And I really do appreciate it. I think I bring greetings from my colleagues in the state government, Mark Stewart MP and Anthony Shorten MP, who unfortunately could not be here today because they had even more citizenship ceremonies than I did. So I bring you greetings from them as well. So have a wonderful day, congratulations, and my best wishes to all of you. Thank you.
May I start by acknowledging the traditional custodian of the land on which we gather and pay my respect to the elders of past and present. And I would like to take these congratulations on all the new members of Australian family. If I can put it this way, that today by swearing in as Australian citizen, you are now a former member of this family. And as a former member of this Australian family, you have the full rights and responsibilities of this nation. And one of the most privileged things to have the membership is that you have the right to elect or be elected as an elected representative. For example, today we have elected representatives who were born in Netherlands, Mrs. Ostapovich, and also we have a councillor, Kim Marks, who was born in New Zealand, and I was born in Taiwan. So through Australian citizenship, you, as a full member of this big family, you'll be able to become an elected representative. And also through elections, you'll be able to decide the future of this country. So from today onward, you have the ownership of this country. You are no longer the guest of this country. You have to decide what this country is going to be like. And a country will only be great when the citizens decide to make it great. So think of what the former US President Kennedy said. Don't ask what the country can do for you, but ask what you can do for the country. So today, I think it's the best opportunity to become Australian citizen on an Australian Day. And I would like to encourage all of you to make the most out of it and become a happy citizen of this family. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, look, as a privilege and a right that as elected representatives, we do acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we gather, and I think that's an honour that we're all happy to accept as well. And as I mentioned before, protocol usually is federal, state and local, so thank you for Anthony for giving up his spot for me as well. We are a wonderful country, as Vince mentioned, as a lot of us are born overseas. I was born in New Zealand, and it just goes to show even a Kiwi can become a councillor. So you can do anything in this country, and I think that's an important thing to remember about this country as well. There is also, as been mentioned, elections coming up, and I think it's also important to remember that all levels of government, despite whatever level or party you belong to, we all get on very well together as well, and I think that's also another important aspect to remember. I want to mention before Graham Perrott does that I was in Canberra with my family recently on school holidays, and not only did I catch up with some senators, but Graham took some time out of his very busy schedule to show my husband and myself around Parliament. And I think that just goes to show what sort of country that we live in this country, that people can do that and it's not a problem, and I think we all need to embrace that in this country. So look, I just want to say welcome to becoming a citizen. It's the best thing you'll ever do in your life, and I know today is going to be a special day for the rest of your lives. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lewis, and can I acknowledge again the traditional owners of the land on which we gather today. Also, can I acknowledge Graham Perrott, the member for Moreton, a very good friend of mine, even though we sit on the other sides of politics. He's a hard-working member for his community. Also, of course, my parliamentary colleague, Freya Ostakovich. Lovely to see you, Freya. I know you're working very hard, like I am, every day, and will too for the next week and a bit. Running late. G'day, how are you? Running late. Yes. Also, the local councillors, of course, Kim Marks and Stephen Wong. Lovely to see you. Melody Chen, the President of World Arts and Culture. Always lovely to see you. I hope you had a lovely Christmas. Our MC for today, Mr. Lewis Lee, always handles himself appropriately on these occasions. But ladies and gentlemen, most importantly, I welcome you, those people who have chosen to become Australian citizens. On what better day could you choose but Australia Day? I was privileged to represent the Premier this morning at the Brisbane City Council Australia Day ceremony in the City Hall, where 620 people took the oath to become Australian citizens. And I can tell you, in this role as the State Member for Algester, it is a privilege that I take very seriously to be able to be part of your special day when you choose to become an Australian citizen. But becoming an Australian citizen also comes with its responsibilities. And I would ask you not just to be a citizen, but to be an active citizen, to seek out in your communities community groups like Lions or Rotary or your local PNC or neighbourhood watches, and be involved in your community. Go next door and knock on your neighbour's door and invite them over for a cup of tea, or a green tea in some cases, or a coffee, or a traditional meal. Engage with your wider community, because our lives as Australians are enriched by the cultures that you bring to our nation. Our lives are enriched by having you make the choice to be Australian citizens. And I wish every single one of you the very, very best in your future as Australians, and I hope that you make the most of your citizenship, and I know that through your contribution to our society that you will make Australia an even better place than what it is now. Thank you very much.
I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians on the land on which we meet today and pay my respects to the elders both past and present. I'd like to acknowledge all of my elected colleagues from the federal government, my state colleagues, and also the councillors that are here today. To all of our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a very important day for all of you. I think that becoming an Australian citizen is not a decision that you would have come to very quickly at all. It would have been something that would have taken a lot of thought and a lot of planning. Some of you would have had a lot of issues that you would have come across on your path to becoming an Australian citizen.
I'd like to congratulate you on your journey and congratulate you for becoming an Australian citizen today. It is something that we all hold very dearly to our hearts, to be a citizen of a country so good as Australia. With all of the privileges that we have here in Australia of being a free and democratic way of life. I'd like to encourage you all to share a meal with your neighbours, to be involved in community groups, whether it be through your local PNCs, through churches, or whether it be through joining the Lions Club or one of our cultural clubs, including the World Arts and Multiculture, who have very kindly hosted us here today and being part of organising this great celebration today. So I'd like to thank Melody Chan and the World Arts and Multiculture for organising today's ceremony and giving the opportunity to so many of you to become Australian citizens today. But thank you so much for becoming citizens today. We do have a wonderful country and we have a very strong community here, not only in the Sunnybank area but in Queensland and right across Australia. And I encourage you to participate in community events wherever you can. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Lewis. I too have done a couple of other citizenship ceremonies today, and like the other speakers, I've got to say this is the most special one, and that's for one simple reason, that this room is air conditioned. The other two weren't. So, and I look just because I know I've got friends from the Labor Party that are here, so I just have to clarify something, because I've got two people from the Liberal Party singing my praises here in public. So I just wanted to clarify that is the case. You know, most politicians do get on. I know you see on the news all the fighting and the controversy, but the reality is all of the people that are elected here sign up to serve their community. Whether they come from overseas or born and bred locally, I do take my hat up for anyone that puts their hand up to serve their community. And I was going to seeing I'm the last speaker, I'm sort of going to weave all the speeches prior together, all great speeches, but I was going to touch on something that Kim Marks mentioned, that I took Kim and her husband around Parliament House in Canberra. Now you've got 3 levels of government here today. 3 levels of government: local, state and federal. And once you sign up today, you've registered with the Electoral Commission, you'll be able to vote on Saturday, or beforehand. The booths are actually open. Sorry, Laurie?
The voters.
Well, the 3 levels of government as per the normal recognition of it. So in fact, my understanding is you have to vote. You have to vote. So there you go, that's one of the first things you have to do. You must cast a vote if you're over 18 in the election on Saturday or beforehand. Now, the reason I mentioned the local, state and federal is because I was very proud to be in Canberra and taking Kim, a local government representative, around Parliament House. So I'm just going to give you my quick understanding of Canberra architecture, because it says something about Australia, which is important on Australia Day. Parliament House is about 26 years old, and the way they built it, there was a big hill in Canberra, they scooped it out and stuck a building in. And it's a big circle. If you have a $5 note, you can actually see a picture of the Parliament House there. It's a big circular building with a flag sticking up the top. It is designed as an intersection. There's a north-south line, and as Laurie touched on, at the north, you've got a line straight through the War Memorial, straight through the public entrance of the building. Then you go through the Great Hall of the People, under the flag, to the Cabinet Room, to the Prime Minister's desk. So the people have a line of power straight through to the Prime Minister. The other line of power is from the House of Representatives, 150 representatives like me, through to the states representatives, the 76 senators representing the states and territories. So that's the design principle. On top of the building, they put grass. Why did they put grass on a building? Not like the Capitol building or in Westminster. Instead, they put grass on top of the building. And the reason they did that in Australia, the architect wanted the people, you, to be able to walk up on top of the politicians, because you are the most important people in this country, the voters of Australia. So make sure you cast your vote wisely in your first ever election. Now my job is to read the preamble to the Australian Citizenship Act 2007, and this is a legal requirement. Australian citizenship represents full and formal membership of the community of the Commonwealth of Australia. And Australian citizenship is a common bond involving reciprocal rights and obligations, uniting all Australians while respecting their diversity. Persons on whom Australian citizenship is conferred enjoy these rights and undertake to accept these obligations by pledging loyalty to Australia and its people. And I do appreciate the assistance I'm receiving up here from the boy with the flag. That's great that you can be a part of the citizenship ceremony. By pledging loyalty to Australia and its people, by sharing their democratic beliefs, by respecting their rights and liberties, and by upholding and obeying the laws of Australia. As such, citizenship is both of value to the individual and to the nation. Now it is time for you to make your pledge of commitment. This will be conducted in two parts, as candidates have the choice to make pledge number 1 or pledge number 2. Candidates making pledge number 1, please stand. And if you wish to make the pledge on your holy book, please hold it in your hands now. Now you must repeat after me. From this time forward, under God. I pledge my loyalty to Australia and its people. Whose democratic beliefs I share. Whose rights and liberties I respect. Whose laws I will uphold and obey. Please be seated. The candidates making pledge number 2, please stand. Remember, there's only 1 or 2, there's no pledge 3. You must make one or the other. Please repeat after me. From this time forward, I pledge my loyalty to Australia and its people. Whose democratic beliefs I share. Whose rights and liberties I respect. Whose laws I will uphold and obey. Would the people that made pledge number 1 please be standing? Be upstanding. And on behalf of the government and people of Australia, let's make welcome these new Australian citizens. Thank you.
Mr. Ralph Smith, the Vice Citizenship Chair of WAMCI Multicultural, to call your names, to come to the stage. As I say, you're given 10 to 30 seconds each, and then you go to the right. First, you go to the left, then you go to the right. So I hand over to Mr. Ralph Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, each candidate who has made the pledge is called forward individually to receive their Australian citizen certificates from Mr. Graham Perrott MP. I'd now like to invite Mr. Anthony Shorten MP, Councillor Kim Marks, and Mr. Lewis Lee, OAM. Join Mr. Perrott. After you have received your certificate, then proceed to my right to receive your gift from Miss Melody Chen. I now invite Ms. Freya Osipovich MP, Councillor Stephen Huang, and Ms. Dana Yu to join Melody. Candidates' names will now be called out. When your name is called, please move to the front of the stage to your left, and please feel free to take photographs and to applaud. And we might just have the first row stand up and get ready to proceed. Thanks. Mr. Rabia Abdul Razikwi. Miss Rajesh Balakrishnan. Miss Elizabeth Bolton. Alexander Bolton. And Rory Tillis. Gila. Ungay Kwan. Christopher McCall.
Thank you.
Jal Padun Patel.
Next, I would like to invite back Mr. Grandparent to give you a 5 piece of advice from the presiding officer. This is not official 5 piece of advice from the Department of Immigration. This is purely from Mr. Grandparent himself.
Obviously, the secret to running a country like Australia, where we've got people from 200 different nations, different religions, different languages, all coming together, we need to do what we can to keep people together. And the MPs and other speeches have mentioned some of the characteristics that make a harmonious society. So I'm just going to give you my 5 simple tips to make a happy Australian. And can I just say, looking at you now, you do look a lot more Australian than you did when we started today. You look a little bit different. So here are my 5 tips. Number 1, you should share a meal with your neighbours. Something that Anthony touched on. You should share a meal with your neighbours, wherever you can, either at home, or in the park, or at a public place, so that you can share your different cuisines and have a yarn over those. Number 2 is find some bush, find some Australian dirt, and get it in your hands and smell it. Get those gum leaves in your hands and crush them. And whether it's planting the trees that have been donated, or up in Toohey Forest, wherever you are, make sure that you understand what Australia feels like under your fingernails. Number 3, my recipe for a happy Australian is to find some Australian poetry that talks to you. Either Judith Wright, Benjo Patterson, Henry Lawson, Kenneth Slessor, Adam Lindsay Gordon, anyone, a modern poet, an old poet, a young poet, an unknown poet, find some poetry that speaks to you of Australia. Number 4, learn an Aboriginal word from the traditional owners of wherever you live for something that you care about. If you only care about beer, find the Aboriginal word for beer. If you only care about rice, find the Aboriginal word for rice. Okay, so find an Aboriginal word and then use it with your family and friends. Number 5, you need to find an Australian sporting team that you can support as your number 1 team. Okay, and now I know that will be hard. If you are from India and Australia is playing India in the cricket, you might say India is my number 1 team, Australia is number 2. I understand that. But you need to find a sport where Australia is your number 1 team. Okay? That's a very important job. As I said, I understand how Australia can be your number 2 team. But if Australia is ever your number 3 team, we will deport you. So you need to focus on those 5 things: some food, some bush, some poetry, an Aboriginal word, and an Australian sporting team. And with that, I'm sure you'll be a happy Australian. Thank you very much.
For all the new citizens, please check your certificate carefully. Your official Australia citizenship certificate is important legal document and is your evidence of the Australia citizenship. Please ensure that your name and the date of the birth are correct, and today's date is printed on your certificate in the bottom left-hand corner. If there are any problem, please contact the Department of the Immigration and Border Protection on 131-880 from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday to Friday, except the public holiday like today. Your certificate should be stored flat in a cool, dry location. Please do not damage your certificate by folding in, or damaged certificate will be not accepted by Australia Passport Office. That's very important. We also do not recommend print your certificate, as you will need to call the ACC number listed on the back of your certificate when you apply Australia passport. Thank you.
I now would like to conduct an affirmation ceremony, which is a short ceremony where all Australians can publicly celebrate being an Australian. The words of the affirmation are based on the Australian Citizenship Pledge made by candidates earlier. By participating in an affirmation ceremony, you are expressing your support for the value and the principles that underpin Australian citizenship. Everyone is welcome to join us in this affirmation ceremony. Participation is voluntary and has no legal standing. If you are not an Australian citizen, but feel a strong connection to Australia, you are welcome to participate. Just join in from the second line. Please repeat after me. Everybody, please stand up. As an Australian citizen, I affirm my loyalty to Australia and its people, whose democratic beliefs I share, whose rights and liberties I respect, and whose laws I uphold and obey. Thank you. Please be seated.
Along with your certificate of Australian citizenship, you will receive a partially complete electoral enrollment form. Please check the details and correct them if necessary. Add in your occupation and postal address, your Australian driver's license number, and state and sign. Once the form has been complete, Kate Shannon and Claire Fitzgerald from Australian Electoral Commission should collect the form from you. If you do not have an Australian driver license, please take your form to Katie and Claire. They will be happy to assist you. For those new citizens who are already on the electoral roll as eligible British subjects, please also sign and hand in the enrollment form so that your enrollment records can be updated for your new citizenship status. All Australian citizens need to maintain their electoral details for their current address. Please be advised that new citizens may enroll to vote now by completing the electoral enrollment form given to you. If you are not enrolled for your current address, please go to see Kathy and Claire from Australia Electoral Commission. You may also go to the following website, www.aec.gov.au for more information about Australian Electoral Commission. Alternatively, you can contact Australian Electoral Commission by phone on 132326 from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Thank you.
Australia, let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is great by sea. Our land above which nature's gifts, our beauty rich and rare.
I would like to call upon the Citizenship Chair of War Arts and Multicultural, Mr. Eddie Lay, to offer a vote of thanks. I don't have the stand in front of me. You might have to read from the sheet here. Eddie Lay, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity to offer a vote of thanks to each and every one of you. I would like to thank Mr. Grant Perrett MP as a presiding officer, and thanks his staff for the assistance in the preparation in the ceremony. Thanks Robertson Gardens for providing the venue, and also special thanks to MC Louis Lee OAN, our right honorary advisor. Thanks to our elected representatives and our VIPs and distinguished guests for your support and assistance. Needless to say, without the support and involvement of the team for the Department of Immigration and Border Protection, this event would not have been possible. A big thank you to the team. Thanks Ryan Smith and his son, and particularly Sandy Huang for attending the registration for candidates. Thanks Katie Shannon and Claire Kiziger for attending the electoral matter for the new citizens. And thanks Richard Huang for speaking on the electoral matter. Thanks Zhongchen, Jacqueline and Yin Kai for leading the national anthem. Also thanks Zhongchen for formation ceremony. Thanks Leonie Swimmer and Gilbert Young, our photographers, for the ceremony. In addition, I would thank Maggie Lu, Samantha Ling, Billy Wu, Howard Liao, and many others for your enormous assistance. Last but not least, a very special thanks to all the new citizens and their relatives and friends for attending the ceremony. Thanks everyone.
Okay, once more. Freya, another wonderful citizenship. I'd like to share a few thoughts.
It was wonderful. Congratulations to WAMCI, to all of the hard workers that go behind the scenes. You've done a wonderful job once again. Melody, awesome job. Lewis, Tina, and of course Dana.
Yeah, 91 new Australian citizens today. What do you think it means for them?
Oh, I think it means the world to them to be able to call this country home, because you know some people actually come to this country and they have no country. So to be able to give them a title of Australian means a lot to them. And those people who have come from other countries and given them away, then that's even more important for them as well. So I congratulate them, because it's a big step. And I'm sure that they'll enjoy this memory for the rest of their lives when they actually become Australian citizens.
You can actually speak from personal experience about this, can't you?
Oh, I sure can, yes. Well, I actually took about 20 years to decide, and I don't know why I waited so long, but I was born in the Netherlands. I was only very young when we came here, and we had PR citizenship, PR, that's seemed to be good enough. And then we sort of thought, well, you know, why aren't we Australian citizens? You know, there's nothing back in the old country for us. So we all decided, my husband's Canadian, so the two of us decided to become Australian citizens together.
I've got Vic here, and the reason I'm interviewing him, besides he's a new Australian citizen, but he's also wearing a wonderful bow tie. So, Vic, what's it like to become a new Australian citizen?
Oh, I think it's a fantastic feeling. Just to give a little bit of history, I came over 7.5 years ago just to venture out masters and study and see what the country is. And after that time, I've just enjoyed, and it's a land of opportunities, and I'm glad that I'm over here.
And what country do you come from?
I come from India, and today they're playing India versus Australia match. So yeah, definitely we'll go for India. But with soccer, I think the soccer is the full way.
And was it a big decision to become an Australian citizen?
I think it was an informed decision. In the beginning, it was just, as I said, that I came here just for studies' sake, and I did my first master's, then did another master's. Fortunately, got to work in the Australian environment, and like the working environment, it's a good work and life balance, a little bit more laid back compared to what I had worked back in India. So having worked in the for government for the past 3.5 years, I thought maybe I can contribute more and contribute to the growing economy of Australia. So that's how I made the decision one step at a time.
澳大利亚国庆日，我们非常的荣幸，能够受到政府的青睐，赋予主办公民宣誓典礼的使命，我们感到非常的荣幸，能够为社区、为新公民来服务。今天有91位新公民来自25个国家，我在这里恭喜新公民住在这么美丽的城市，也祝福新公民他生活在尊重、包容、多元文化的社会。我也祝福今天澳大利亚的国家生日快乐。
Laurie, congratulations. An AM, how does it feel?
Well, I'm very, very happy with it. It came as a surprise, and it's very nice to have your efforts acknowledged.
The Honours Awards are all about serving the country, and I guess you have had a long history of serving, going right back to the Second World War.
Now, do you want to make this short or do you want to make it long? Because I am 92 years of age and I started off in the public service in Tasmania, and with a pretty good record I left there and I came to Ballina and I served there as an alderman, and then I came to Brisbane, and I've been devoted the rest of my time to my squadron, which was 460 Australian Lancaster Squadron in Bomber Command, and unfortunately everybody is dying off, and I'm being left alone at 92. But it has been a wonderful period to bring forward the history of the Australians in Bomber Command. I find a lot of the younger generation do not realise that Australia was involved in the war in Europe, and that so many of the cream of our generation were killed. Every second man was killed.
Well, it's great to see that you made it, and what a wonderful career you've devoted to Australia. And today we're at a very special ceremony. We had 91 people become new Australian citizens.
Well, I welcome them, and I feel that they want to honour our flag, and
which is just disappearing from the wall at the moment.
And being a fifth generation Australian, I'm very proud of my country, and I hope that after their life here, they will be also very proud of Australia. And the children growing up, of course, they are growing up in a paradise, really, and keep it that way.
So, for all the new citizens, what message would you like to give to them?
Honour the flag. 1. Learn English. 2. Be good to your mates. Look after your mates. That's what life is about. If you've got good mates, you have a happy life.